The police have promised in our security meeting today that they will carry out serious operation to arrest anybody who, in the name of politics or any other way, is carrying a knife, is carrying rungus, machetes, is carrying all kinds of things to terrorize residents. We are willing, we have no problem with any elected leader walking around with their leaders, but it must not lead to a situation where someone is being forced to do certain things because there is a gang. We were told in another county, I don't want to mention the name, that even county government is using goons, to force government policy. That if the county government people are not complying in certain village with county government thing, the leadership of the county government wanafika na goons. Wanakaa chini wanasema nani anapinga mambo ya serikali, na ni watu wenye wanatoa macho na ni macho mekundu na wameshika chuma kabisa, wanaangalia kuona nani kwa baraza hii kwa vile. Na kwa sababu wananchi wanajua ni goons, kila mtu anasema tumekubaliana, kiongozi tumekubaliana, atipitishwe at public participation imeisha. That level of intimidation is unacceptable. So we have agreed, there is a way we have agreed with our security team. And the president is trying his best. Climate works, mambo ya construction site, and we are all trying to find ways of ensuring that our young people can get jobs. Even the border sector, properly organized, is a multi-billion economic sector. We just need self-regulation first, before even government regulation. They respect themselves, they determine their routes, they have proper uniform. Some of the border who have become criminals, for example, who are being told in Kisii, they are being forced to wear uniform of particular politicians and then torture people. We cannot accept that. We want border to have border uniform based on their sectors, designated areas. As told here in Milimani, there is a small organized team that can be replicated in other parts of the county. So that, and you can learn something from the Matatu sector. This is fairly organized. We can also organize the border sector to circles that can be accountable. And chair or a spokesman of border, I have no fear of contradiction. I have not said it's already in the law, but this is where we should go. Border is transport of last mile to access areas that you cannot have vehicles and you cannot have buses and you cannot have train and so forth. We cannot have a pillion passenger being carried on a highway by a border. Ati anatuanga umebeba mtu kutoka Nairobi unakuja Nakuru. That should not be the case. It should be the case that there's designated areas where it is transport of last mile. We are losing so many people in highways, including in Nairobi, because of border. I don't know the statistics in here in Nakuru, in Kisumu, but in Nairobi, especially in the dual carriage areas and so forth, you have many of the pillion passengers losing their lives because of that. There must be designated areas, and then but that will come with the rules and the regulations that you are dealing with. And this conversation, if city center is also for county government to decide, even if they are coming to city center, to which part of the city center, and how will it make sure that there is sanity and order in the transport sector. Or number 2 is sexual and gender-based violence. As I said earlier, this is very prevalent here. We are 36%, national average is 32%. But also sexual and gender-based violence is a crisis in the country, not just one county. I am happy with the chief who said part of the reasons why in some counties it's being reported more than others is because of the proactiveness of the chiefs to make sure that these issues are reported. We should not shy away from reporting, trying to reduce the statistics. No. Let us report. But it's not enough to report. Let us also make sure that it's reported, and these people, statements are recorded by DCI, and they are sent to the DPP, and they are charged in a court of law. The judiciary, I must defend the judiciary. The judiciary is fairly sympathetic to solving cases of sexual and gender-based violence. Unlike in alcohol and goons, the judiciary is more sympathetic in dealing with these issues. So we need to just do proper investigation and make sure that the characters are presented before court so that we can be able to deal with these issues. We know that this issue is prevalent and we must help each other. Border people, please help us. help us deal and protect with our young people. In Kisii County, for example, I was being told that children are being forced to go to school very early in the morning. That should not be the case. The schools know that the rules are such that schools should only expect the children at about 7 a.m. This thing of getting children to walk at about 5 in the morning and they are not being escorted by anybody in dark areas are things that we must deal with. Lighting is also, in these places, is also perpetuating crime. And county government, let's work together to make sure that we install more lights that can help people to work in an environment that is safe and secure. The other issue is about our lake. You know, our lake here is our lake is also our border. Yeah? Our lake is also our border. And we know there are certain things we have agreed we need to do in our security meeting in the morning. First, we need to increase government presence, border patrol unit presence in a number of places. And immediately within a month or so, we have agreed with the IG that we must have a presence in Mangeta, Ringiti, and Sori, to add to the places where we have. I think those are places. Thank you, DIG. We must increase our presence there so that we have proper enforcement to protect our country, but also to protect our fishermen. We have also agreed that in our modernization program, we are working on procuring more boats and more equipment that will help Coast Guard and the Border Patrol Unit to make sure that they patrol our lakes. This is the case in Lake Victoria, as is the case in Lake Turkana, where we have a similar problem. As I told you earlier, in Lake Turkana, the fish is breeding is happening in Ethiopia, and the fish come to Kenya. It becomes a cause of conflict. In Lake Victoria, breeding is happening in Kenya, and the fish is swimming across. And since the fish does not have, they are fish without border, and we cannot give them passports, and we cannot tag them. There is no other way we will work. We must work in a coordinated manner as the three countries. In this lake, the president had a meeting with President Museveni, and I was in that meeting, and it was agreed that through the joint agreement and the Two Nations Commission, Joint Commission, we are going to have a framework of joint exploitation of fish resources in this lake so that we reduce the problem. I also had a very good proposal from the county security team in the morning that we might need to have a liaison officer from Uganda based here in Kisumu, and we have also a liaison officer from Kenya based on the other side, so that when issues come up, we quickly thrash them and resolve those issues. The land issues, I have heard you. We are going to engage the lands ministry to also deal with their issues of corruption. As we deal with ours on this side, that lands ministry also must deal with corruption issues. On border security, I've heard you. The border on the side of Kericho has one chief corresponding with 4 chiefs on this other side. So we must implement the administrative units on the other side to assist us. And also the NCIC has done a good job in the past. We want them to do even more. And we want to come and complete a peace process that was going on to put together the peace committees from the 2 counties so that we can ensure that the relationship is built between the 2 counties. And it should not depend on political goodwill. It must be a process that brings together everybody. I think those are some of the key issues in this county. Now, on your welfare, I will run through the welfare issues very quickly. Number 1, you have asked issues of mobility. Vehicles is a problem, and I agree. The last procurement was done in 2013. At that moment, we have a shortage of a good critical number of vehicles that we need. The leasing program is being worked out, and that leasing program, at the moment, PS is here, and the PS Treasury, they are working on something between the 2 ministries. We hope that we can get the leasing program go on. We are targeting about 3,000 cars. We are hoping we will close in before October, but it looks like it might drag on up to December. We are hoping that we can have the vehicles leased so that we can supply to yourselves. we have a problem, and it is a real problem. A real problem. And it is not confined to Kisumu. Most of our police stations, most of our counties do not have vehicles, or almost all, at least have critical problems in a number of the police stations. I know also the ACCs are the most affected. They are the ones who have no single cars. The ACCs who are here. Yeah? Madam ACC, where are you? Yeah? Sometimes you have to go with border, right? Yeah? Yeah. You have to work with OCS to help you. But where there is none, unatumia border.
Absolutely, Mheshimiwa.
Yeah, thank you very much. Unaona huyo ACC sasa anapanda border. Yeah? Akienda kazi. Alafu msee wa border anamwambia shika vizuri. Yeah? Na akikataa kushika vizuri anaenda mbio na kufunga break. So the ACC has no choice. Yeah? So lazima tuchunge this situation that we have. Niliambiwa huko Makweni na ACC moja alikuwa anaenda Barasa, amebebwa na boda. Mtu wa boda alipoona mkutano imekaa namna yeye amekaribia, akaweka ka style na madoido, akaangusha Madam ACC. Alipoangusha kofia ikaanguka. Ati mtu akashout kwa mkutano akasema serikali imeanguka, you know. So we don't want serikali ianguke. We want to make sure that transport. Umesikia Bwana Fias, serikali isianguke vile tunaambiwa hapa. I want us to work together. We will see how to deal with this transport issue. On the question of your offices, I'm glad our leaders are here. Let's help each other through CDF to build as many police stations, as particularly chiefs and assistant chiefs offices, particularly to make sure that we have infrastructure. We thank you for what you have done already. I am the one person who supports NGCDF 100%. My opinion is different from other leaders. I support NGCDF 100%. And the reason being, I see the practical solution it gives at the local level. And it gives an opportunity to people at the local level, the committees, to decide the programs they want. And you chiefs, in your barazas and in decisions of NGCDF, working with your MPs, let us also support programs that will build the police station so that we can be able to move forward together. Mambo ya village elders, I totally agree with you, Mama, on the issue of village elders. We are in the final stage of the CAB memo. It's been signed by my colleagues. I'll present before cabinet, and then we'll see direction how to support the village elders. We will see how best we can be able to support you. It will not be employment, so it's not that it's salary. We are just looking for honoraria of some sort to support your work, ya kununua torch, na gumboots, na airtime, na nini, ya kusongesha, na also some insurance for those who are unable to pay for SHA. It can assist them to be able to do so, as they assist the other security architecture to solve their problems. The other issue that I know as of great concern is, I have already said earlier, we have agreed we will have a policy after this on transfers, and we have a policy on promotions. That will deal with all these issues, including the structure of promotion for chiefs, assistant chiefs, and the ACCs. Kuna also chiefs wako in terms of rank wako juu ya ACCs, and then they are being monitored, they are being supervised by the ACCs. That is an issue that we have to deal with. And so already we are having Conversation Public Service Commission as part of the output from this meeting. That is an issue that will make great contribution to it. We also want to reserve, when we advertise for the ACC's jobs, we'll reserve some of the jobs for the qualified chiefs so that they can rise to those positions of the ACCs. But you must go for interview. We'll just reserve the possibility so that you can, the Public Service Act requires that everybody must go through suitability test so that you can get to move to that level. And I know some of the chiefs and teachers, chiefs and people who are chiefs and former teachers who apply to be ACCs are struggling to fit into the rank within the ACCs issues. And again, we are working on that part. The ACCs of 2021, who are now almost due for promotion. You need first to go for the training. I think there are 300 of you. And His Excellency the President gave directives when we were at the graduation of the other SECs, and you have been allowed to go for training. So anytime next month,